Welcome everyone to Hillcrest Connects, where we briefly want to share with you what it means to meet together as we catch a glimpse of what God is doing in and through our congregation. Today we're starting something new. We are looking back over the history of Hillcrest Church and some of the founding members and people who have been involved in the ministry over the years. And today we have with us Clarence Knodel, who's been with our church family for many, many years, and he's going to share with us some of his ministry experiences. Clarence, thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, okay.
So Clarence, tell us about your call to ministry. How did you get into ministry?
Well, ministry was on my mind after I went to Bible school and graduated. I always had a desire to be used of the Lord, but I wasn't sure whether it was going to be pastoral ministry or whatever. And so life went on, and I met Eleanor, and we got married, and I'm glad that she's my loving wife, and we have been married now for 65 years, and it's been a wonderful experience, and I appreciate her so much for the unity and love between us, so that we were able to share together this ministry, what we were going into. And because he has been a great asset to our family and to the community, and so I appreciate her very much. And we started out actually south of Irvine. We lived for 2 years. I took my dad's farm there, and we stayed there for 2 years, and had little experience with some of those old churches were still there, and there were some kids there, so we did a little ministry with the kids and Christmas programs and so forth. So we got an introduction of what would be like in the future when we would move on. So that was the start of the ministry, and then we continued on and moved to Medicine Hat.
Mm-hmm. So Clarence, did you get a clear calling from God? Was there a time or a place where God said to you, Clarence, you need to be in ministry?
Yeah. Well, that was my problem. I wasn't sure, and so I was just waiting and trusting the Lord and to lead what I didn't feel the call to really be a pastor. And so we got married and started out on the farm and got involved right away. Then when we moved to Medicine Hat, we started at Hillcrest. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I was encountered with to be the superintendent of the Sunday school, which was a new experience for me. I didn't know going from a small church into a big church was quite a thing, but the Lord helped me, and things prospered pretty good. And then at that time, in between, I got involved with Christian Service Brigade. This was a boys' program, and we'd go out on weekends, and I had a small bus, and so we went different places for outings during the weekends. Yeah. And another thing that happened during that time, I got involved with a camp. We started a camp at Cypress in the other side of Maple Creek there, and they got me to be involved as director of that camp. So that was another new experience for me, and we had a bus, so we took the kids down and so forth. And it was a wonderful experience to see boys and girls come and the challenge to give their lives to Christ, and it was a challenge to keep on going the way we were. Yeah.
So Clarence, your call into ministry, really, God kind of put this in your heart that you needed to be in ministry. You didn't know what, so you kind of had to be patient for him to show you what it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't all of a sudden come as though, but as times went on, we made our commitment to serve wherever we can be used. And so that's how we got started. And then another experience that helped us when I was in 1969, Eleanor and I went to the mission. I went to the mission field to work at a camp in Ecuador for a week, and then I came back, and it was, it's called the Men for Missions program, and that's a program where you say, I will do, and I will go, and I will give whatever God wants me. And that made a greater desire for me to be involved. And then 10 years later, Ella and I went to the mission field together to see some of these mission things. And our hearts were challenged again to keep on serving the Lord.
Yeah. Can you share a specific ministry event where you saw God working in Hillcrest Church that was a real blessing to you and to the church family?
Well, as I said, I started doing things when I was asked. And when you don't say no, it's pretty hard to, because I was willing to serve. And so one thing after another happened, and the Lord blessed it, and I was happy and excited, and so was Elder with helping, and that was a lot of work for her, to raise children and be at home and yet be involved all the time,
Is there a specific story, Clarence, you can share that you saw God do something?
As we went on, it all came one by one. As we got involved, we got excited about what we were doing and saw results about boys growing, boys coming to church and getting them out on the community and so forth, and at camp to see boys and girls come to Christ. That was the greatest challenge.
You must have seen a lot of people come to Christ over the years.
Yeah, boys and girls, we did lots. Yeah. God was really moving, and that gives us confidence that God is blessing.
And it's inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
When you were in ministry, Clarence, can you share an example of doing ministry, and because you were doing ministry, God did things and it just reinforced why you're in ministry? It was just an encouragement. Can you share some of that?
Well, as I said, it was, we got involved more and more, and the load seemed to get heavier all the time, and we were still farming, and we're making a living and so forth. I drove a school bus, and so I had a bus to carry on some of this ministry. And then after we were on the mission field, we got involved, and Pastor Leroy Myers asked us to be youth directors, and well, we never had any experience, and well, how can we do it? But there was only a few kids, but we started, and it grew, and I took them with the bus to weekends for retreats and stuff like that, and slowly it grew, and because of our going to the mission field, our hearts were for missions, and we thought it would be a great experience. So when they asked us to be youth directors, we worked on projects, and we even grew potatoes out on my farm, and to raise money to extend the kits. And so we had about a dozen kids go to the mission field from time to time to catch the vision of that. And that kept on growing, and so we were there for 12 years, and wonderful blessing we had. We went to retreats and to camps. We went to Chilliwack one night, and I drove all night and all till morning, till we got home and so forth. And always God protected us and had His hand upon us. Yeah.
So Clarence, would you say that just by being open to what God's doing, just being open to Him, He's going to use you, and He's going to bless you in your ministry? And that's what you've seen in ministry?
Yeah, that's what was really, really excited for me, because I knew now that this is where God wanted us to be. Because one thing after another, after children's ministry, the youth ministry, and then another experience that came later on then when I was 50 years old. a person was here at our church sharing about a ministry that he did at 50 years. So I thought about that and prayed about it, and I've evaluated my ministry and my work, and I thought I'd have enough money. I could maybe afford to partly resign and take on another full-time ministry.
Okay.
And so that's what I did. And gave myself to volunteer to ministry here for a year or so, just and then we went to church growth seminars, and learned how to reach out to people and all different ways to grow the church. And I was in that council where we did that, and we practiced doing this, and that's when I got involved and reached out to people when they came to visit. We went to visit their home, and then I started a newcomers class and invited them to that. I had a class in the first service, and then the people went to the second service.
Okay.
And we started off with 10, 15 people, and I taught them for several months of our church doctrine and how to reach out to people and all of that stuff. And they gathered together and became friends as a group. And so that was a wonderful way of communicating and getting to know each other. As that group grew and multiplied, after about 25 years in that ministry, they hired me. They put me on staff then, like a regular pastor. And so I went to hospitals and visited and all kinds of ministry. I had people. I had about 10 couples working with me to visit these older people and so forth. And it went good. I had meetings with them every month to encourage them and so forth, and see their reports and stuff. Yeah. After so many years, I went to the last phase of I felt that 75 and over, that I would want to do one more ministry, and that was feeding the hungry.
Okay.
And we went to BC to those cleaners there, and we saw their operation, and thought that would be really neat to start something in Medicine Hat. So I went there, and then a fellow had been before that and had already started sort of a thing, and we got together and formed a board, and that's how we got started. We raised money and didn't have nothing, no property and no money, but just pray that God will work things out. And we got that place down there, and God provided everything, and we got started, and then we had a flood, and that helped to destroy it. And then the next we had a snowstorm, and you had 2 feet of snow broke down our building where we were operating, and we had to shut it down. We didn't know whether nothing will happen, or so we waited on God, and He provided that wonderful place we have now. That's the cleaners. It's a wonderful place, 8 acres, and we're doing millions of meals now, preparing, and we've shipped millions of meals already, and are still continuing on the process. And it's still growing, and it's exciting, and we've never been short of anything. God has always supplied. And it's almost paid for, and so it's exciting to see those wonderful things happen. And that's about my ministry. I'm thankful that Ellen and I have been healthy and well at our age, and we can still do lots of things. And it's only through His grace that we can do that. And we were willing to be involved and stay involved with what the things we can do. And I find that there's nothing more important or more exciting in life than to know that you have been in the center of God's will and have been used of God and are available to help encourage other people to get involved. Because everyone has a ministry, and each person has a gift that they can use. And the church is responsible to make that known, so encourage people to find that gift and be used. And it's a wonderful experience to go with that and be used in a wonderful way. And you'll be happy, fulfilled, and nothing better. And we have our children are serving the Lord, and we're thankful for them and that they are involved in the church as well.
Clarence, was there ever a particular difficult situation or ministry, but you saw God work through it and just bless it richly despite the difficulties?
Yeah, it's been wonderful the way God has always met the needs. You know, we were always scared and inadequate. You know, and that's how people feel. Nobody feels that they can do a job. But when you ask them personally, you know, and say, I think you could do that, and help them along, and that's a great way to get people involved. You know, and I had a lot to do with that, and the newcomers class, you know, to get them be involved and do things like that. Because people don't like to offer, you know. They like to be asked to do certain things. And when you're encouraging them and helping them, they're willing to try. That's the wonderful thing about it that I found. You know, whenever I ask people, well, he's doing everything, why can't I do more? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Is there anything else there, Clarence, you'd like to share with us?
Well, my prayer and desire is that we as God's children are going to be wholly committed to Christ. You know, there are so many Christians that are walking with the Lord, but there are certain things they won't do, you know, and that robs you of your real joy. As if you say, Lord, I'll do this, I'll try this, it brings joy to your heart as to get involved, you know, and everybody should do that, and it's exciting to do it. And I tried it, and it worked. Yeah. It's wonderful to know that I had brothers, you know, my older brothers, they all went into the world and didn't serve the Lord, and I saw them wasting their lives for all these years. And then it's a wonderful thing that I was able to help them find the Lord at 80, 90 years of age. They accepted the Lord because they knew what they had to do, but didn't serve the Lord.
It's never too late.
Pardon?
It's never too late.
No, it's wonderful. My oldest brother was 92 when he accepted the Lord, and I took him for coffee and helped them along. Yeah. My desire is to convey this message to people who know that God wants our whole, not part of our body. You know, He wants to use us, and for real joy and victory in our hearts, we have to do that.
Yeah. Clarence, thank you for coming in and sharing with us. We sure appreciate your time and your insights.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you for joining with us today. To stay connected, sign up on Realm, follow us on our social media sites, or visit us at hillcrestchurch.net.